welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name is Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy you could be with me. And I think this week, one thing I kind of want to do is um, some of Muhammad's battles. He did a lot. Let me see how many wars Muhammad fought. Oops. He fought a lot of battles. Muhammad's battles. They list of expeditions of Muhammad. Here we could look at this together here, see all the battles he did. There's the Battle of Wadan, the Battle of Buwat, the Battle of Ashura, Battle of Safwan, Battle of Badr. Now that's a famous one. The Battle of Beni Salim, the Battle of Benu Kainuka. Now the Benu Kainuka, I know that one is that's actually one of the Jewish tribes near Medina. The Battle of Sawik, the Battle of Di Amr, the Battle of Buhran, the Battle of Uhud, that's a very famous one, the Battle of Hamra al-Asad, the Battle of Benu Nadir. Benu Nadir is also one of the Jewish tribes that lived in Medina. The Battle of Badr al-Maw'id, Battle of Dam'at al-Jandal, the Battle of the Trench, al-Khandaq, which is a famous one, where Mecca was attacking, and Khandaq means the trench. They dug a trench, and so that one was right before the battle of the next one, which was Battle of Benu Qurayza. That's where Muhammad committed genocide on the tribe of Jews that were left in Medina. Then there's the Battle of Benu Lehyan. Then there was Battle of Benu Mustalik, which is also one of the Jewish tribes in Medina. There's Benu Mustalik, Benu Nadir, Benu Qurayza, and there's also the Benu Kainuka, which was near. Then the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, which is very famous. The Battle of Dukarad, the Battle of Khaybar. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, the Battle of Khaybar. The Battle of Wadi al-Qur'a, the Battle of al-Rika, the Battle of Umar al-Qada, the Battle of Mut'a. 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 I don't know that. I don't think that's Mut'a, but then the opening of Mecca, the Battle of Hunain, the Battle of Ta'if, the Battle of Tabuk. So Muhammad was definitely a warrior. He was very much a warlord, and so but that doesn't actually list the. Let me see. He was a Battle of Badr. Okay. I see if I can see the list. I'd like to see a list. Okay. The military career. Let's put this here so you guys can see this. This is Wikipedia. So, the military career of Muhammad encompasses several expeditions and battles through the Hijaz region in the Western Arabian Peninsula, which took place in the final 10 years of his life. So he did not have wars while Khadija was alive. While Khadija was alive, he was, I don't want to say peaceful, but more peaceful. And that's why you have all the peaceful verses in the Quran from the Mecca period, while Khadija and Warqa bin Nawfal were alive. Okay. Took place. But when he moved to Medina, everything went crazy. I mean, he started having wives, all those marriages, and then all those wars. Everything really changed direction when he moved to Medina. Okay, which took place in the final 10 years of his life from 622 to 632. His primary campaign was against his own tribe in Mecca, the Quraysh. Okay, alongside his campaign against Quraysh, Muhammad led campaigns against several other tribes in Arabia, most notably the Arabian Jewish tribes of Medina and the Jewish fortress of Khaybar. He expelled the Benu Kainuka, the Benu Nadir, and later he accused people of trying to assassinate him. Then in 628, he besieged and invaded the fortress of Khaybar, which had more than 10,000 Jews. And then in the final years of his life, okay, Tabuk. But there was also, I think that Wikipedia maybe is politically correct, and so they don't want to talk about some of the other really bad battles, like namely the uh, the Benu Qurayza, where he committed genocide. So the Benu Kainuka, here's the Benu Kainuka. 624, after the Battle of the Benu Kainuka violated the constitution of Medina by shaming the Muslim woman by pinning and tearing her clothes. A Muslim man who witnessed this killed the Jewish man responsible for it in retaliation. The Jews came up in a group against the Muslim and killed him. After a successive chain of similar revenge killings, enmity grew between Muslims and the Benu Kainuka, which led Muhammad to lay siege to their fortress. The Kainuka had strength of around 700. Okay, then there's the expulsion of the Benu Nadir. Now, the Benu Nadir are particularly relevant to what we're talking about today, because the Benu Nadir moved to Khaybar. Okay, and Muhammad chased them and killed them there. The Benu, let me just write this here and we'll look at it. Okay, there was two tribes that Muhammad expelled, that he deported them. But then there was the one that he committed genocide on, which is the Benu Qurayza. So, hello, Rodney. God bless you. Hello, Tiger. Hello, Ida, child of God. All right. So let's go ahead and just look a little bit at the, first of all, a little bit about Khaybar. Khaybar is about 93 miles north of Medina. So, I mean, back then, that was a long journey. It was it was quite a distance, and it was a Jewish settlement. And the, what's the people who lived there a lot of them were from the tribe of Judah. They were actually from the tribe of Judah, and some of them were descendants of Aaron, of the priestly tribe. And so they think that they had lived in that area from the time of the Babylonian captivity. And some even say it was from the time of King David. So the Jews had scattered. We read like the book of Ruth. In the book of Ruth, you read about Uh, there's a very interesting thing. I heard a Jewish person say this. I've never heard it before. But when Pharaoh chased the Jews out of Egypt, that not all the Jews left. There was many Jews who did not leave. They stayed in Egypt. So, I mean, a large percentage of the people, the Jews, stayed in Egypt. They did not go. They stayed in the area where they were living, Goshen. So not all of them left. And I never heard that before, but a lot of them stayed in Egypt. And I guess they were just acclimated into Egyptian society and they became just regular Egyptians. I don't know. But so remember the story of in the book of Ruth. Yes, with Babylon, absolutely. But not, even, uh, with the Benu, with the Benu, with the Khaybar situation, it is from the tribe of Judah, which would lead you to believe, that this was from the Babylonian captivity, because they're from the tribe of Judah, because the Babylonian captivity was for the tribe of Judah. But there was also the Assyrian captivity of the 10 northern tribes, and those were scattered all over the east, and they never returned. Uh, so, they're called the lost 10 tribes. So, they also were scattered. We don't know exactly where. Some say to Afghanistan, some to Assyria, some to Europe. A big thing is about the tribe of Dan. They say the tribe of Dan, you find traces of the tribe of Dan in Europe. Like in Ireland, the most famous song is Danny Boy. In Germany, there's the Danube River, and then there's Sweden, there's Denmark. So the tribe of Dan supposedly is very big in Europe. This is what some people say. Some people say that the British are Saxons, Anglo-Saxons. That Saxons is actually means Isaac's sons, that they were Jews. And a lot of people think that from the tribe of Ephraim, because the Bible says, when Jacob prophesied over Ephraim, that the Ephraim will become many nations. And so some people think that England is possibly from the tribe of Ephraim, you know. But I do know that they're in Afghanistan, in Iran, in Iraq, in China, in all the Far East that you'll find. And you guys, also in India. And what's particularly interesting about India is, what is the highest caste among the Indians? They're called the Brahmins. The highest, there's the untouchables, the different classes in the Hinduism, but the highest caste is Brahmins. And I heard a rabbi say that Brahmins is actually comes from the word Abraham, Brahmin, which comes from Abraham, Brahmins, the children of Abraham. So there could be something there, and the reason I think maybe is because the Hinduism actually started developing around 1500 BC, which was not far from of the time of the captivity. So I don't know. It could be, could have something to do with it. I don't know. But anyway, so how did they end up in Arabia? Uh, but like I said, this particular group was Khaybar, was from the tribe of Judah, which would lead you to believe this would be from the Babylonian captivity. And there were also Levites. So it wasn't just the Levites and Judah that went into the Babylonian captivity, because remember the story of Esther and Mordecai and all those. That was during the captivity. That was the Persian phase of the captivity. Because first it was Babylonian, but then the Persians took over, and right before the Greeks took over, it was between the Persian and Greek period of the exiles, and Esther and Mordecai were from the tribe of Benjamin. So they are from the tribe of Benjamin. Now, the tribe of Benjamin, they actually were in kind of like absorbed into the tribe of Judah. They were very small, and they were just kind of like swallowed up by Judah. So they were kind of like part of the tribe of Judah. And so that's why, Saul, and even Saul of Tarsus was also from the tribe of Benjamin. And but anyway, the Khaybar Jews were apparently descended from Judah, but there was also the Aaronic. So they would have been Levites as well, from the tribe of Levite. So, and they actually claimed descent uh, from one of the like priests in the lineage of Aaron. And so anyway, so that's where Khaybar comes from. Now, I'd be interested also to find out, and which I didn't, but I'd be very. In fact, I will go and look at that. Where did the Benu Qurayza come from? Which tribe is the Benu Kainuka from? And the Benu Ne'edir and the Benu, the other Jewish tribes, because there's many different Jewish tribes. But the Khaybar Jews were primarily from the tribe of Judah and tribe of Levi, supposedly. So, so what happened with Khaybar is that, and they had been there for, you know, let me just tell you this other thing, which maybe this has some relationship to it, um, is that there's, I don't know if you've seen that guy who's that? He's kind of like an archaeologist who does all this Bible research type stuff, and he did this thing where the Exodus the Exodus did not actually take place in the Sinai Peninsula, but rather it took place in Arabia around the 40 years that they traveled for 40 years around Arabia. And they've actually found like Jewish engravings, pottery, and stuff like along like a path. Um, I don't know. And they actually think that Mount Sinai is actually in Arabia rather than in Mount Sinai, in the Sinai Peninsula. So I don't know, because they said that the Red Sea crossing took place between the Sinai Peninsula and Arabia. That's where the Red Sea was split. So I don't know. I'm not sure, but interesting, all worth looking into. And yeah, and about after the Babylonian captivity, about 50,000 returned with Ezra, primarily from the tribe of Judah, but there wasn't just Judah, because you do see people from, Ezra lists, the people who came back to Israel and the different tribes. And we know that in the New Testament that we see, of course, the tribe of Judah, Jesus from tribe of Judah. We see the Levites like Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, and Elizabeth. And we also see Asher, the tribe of Asher. And that's the old woman who prophesied over Jesus in the temple. And then we also see Saul, who's from the tribe of Benjamin. And so and there was always people from, and when you look at for instance, the book of James, if you look at the book of James in the New Testament, who is it addressed to? It's addressed to those of the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered among the nations. So that saying that there were members of the 12 tribes are, there were members of the 12 tribes in Israel at the time of Jesus. They weren't just, just Judah and Levi, but there were members of the 12 tribes. And another reason why you can know that is because when Israel and Judah split in the time of Solomon, after Solomon, his son Rehoboam, became king, and he was wicked. And so the northern tribes broke off and became a separate nation. They called that nation Israel. And the southern tribe they called Judah. The southern nation they called Judah. It became two nations. And the people in the north worshipped in Samaria. They had their own worship system, but they broke away from the Davidic line. Well, the Messiah was to come from the Davidic line. And so there were lots of people from Israel, the northern tribes, who did not want to forfeit their part in the messianic promise and lineage. So what they did, even though they're from Naphtali, Issachar, and all those tribes, Ephraim, Manasseh, and all those, they moved to Judah. So there were members of the tribe of Ephraim in Judah, members of the tribe of Issachar, Naphtali, Simeon, Reuben, all of them. There was members of all those tribes in Judah, the southern nation. So anyway, all that to say that, oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It was muted, but I unmuted it. So, okay. Chuck Missler said that the split in the northern and southern kingdom happened under Rehoboam and Jeroboam. All the idolaters moved northward, vice versa. Yes, yes, that's true. I love Chuck Missler, by the way. I really enjoy his teaching. I did when I was younger, and the stuff he talked about is coming to pass, man. He was really an amazing teacher. He was very much like the apologists of today in his time, and kind of like David Wood, Sam Shimon, and all those. He was kind of like the the harbinger of those guys. But so anyway, getting back to the Benu Khaybar. Let me just show you a video. Just Khaybar, there are many Jewish tribes. Muhammad devastated. He kicked them out. He exiled them. Or he killed them, And but Khaybar, of all the battles that Muhammad did, and he did a lot. I mean, we're talking like over 80 battles. Okay, he was a very violent man, and he was even called al-Dahuk al-Qattal, the laughing killer. That's one of his names, the laughing killer titles. Can you imagine? The laughing killer. And I can show you videos of people who were inspired by that. The Yamama was actually after Muhammad. That was with Abu Bakr and Omar. Okay, Muhammad was already dead by then. But his caliphs after him continued his violent, bloody legacy, especially in Khaybar. But Khaybar is the most famous of all his battles. And one of the reasons it's so famous is because it was Muhammad was victorious against the Jews of Khaybar. He was victorious against them, but today, whenever you see Muslims like lining up to criticize the Jews, to fight the Jews, one thing you'll hear is this, and you'll hear it everywhere. Here, let me play it for you. See if you guys can hear it.
خيبر خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد بدأ يعود ليس سوف يعود سنأتي إليك خيبر خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد بدأ يعود.
Okay, Khaybar Khaybar ya Yahud. says, Khaybar, Khaybar, O Jews, the 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 army of Muhammad is going to come back. Khaybar, Khaybar, ya Yahud, Jaysh Muhammad sa Ya'ud. Okay, and this particular sheikh, and you can see he's wearing the Palestinian uh, a scarf there. He's in Jerusalem. It's a neighborhood called Sheikh Jarrah. I used to go there almost every day. It's kind of like right straddles the border of Jerusalem and right on the very furthest eastern border of Jerusalem, a western border of Jerusalem. And so anyway, so this is what the guy said. Listen again to what he says.
خيبر خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد بدأ يعود ليس سوف يعود.
Okay, and Khaybar Khaybar ya Yahud, Jaysh Muhammad.
اللهم انصر مجاهدين الأبطال اللهم انصر خيبر 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 يا يهود خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد جيش محمد سوف يعود سوف يعود heat up heat up heat up heat up heat up Islam heat up Islam bangkit bangkit خيبر 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 يا يهود خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد جيش محمد سوف يعود سوف يعود
Okay, there you hear him say Khaybar Khaybar. Look at all those people behind him. Look at all those people behind him. Khaybar Khaybar. Of all the battles of Muhammad, this is the most famous one because of this battle cry. And you hear it all the time, everywhere. In Europe.
يا يهودي عندي حيدرة خادم جيش علي.
Anyway, so so there you have it. And Jaysh Ali, he's talking about the army of Ali. But this particular battle, Khaybar, is the most famous. And it's because of that battle cry, and you hear it everywhere. Every time there's a war against Israel or something about Israel, you hear this. Khaybar, Khaybar, ya Yahud. Yahud means Jews. Khaybar, Khaybar, O Jews. Jaysh means army. Muhammad, Sofa Ya'ud, will return. The army of Muhammad is going to come again. So there you go. That's all of this goes back to what Muhammad did to the people of Khaybar. And so, anyway, just a little bit of background there on Khaybar. And Khaybar was a battle that Muhammad fought after he had problems. He was in Medina. In Medina, there was primarily three groups of Jews: Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Nadir, Banu Qurayza. I've said it a million times. Okay, he exiled the Banu Qaynuqa and the Banu Nadir, and then he killed the Banu Qurayza. Okay, you've heard that 10 billion times. I've said it. But the Banu Nadir, they were of particular interest because he had trouble with them, and he would chase them. After they left, they fled from Medina, and they went to Khaybar. And in Khaybar, there was other Jews there too. They're not the only ones, but they had property there as well. And the Jews, you guys, were very prosperous. That's always the case. Wherever they go, they're very prosperous. They're very blessed. The Bible says they will be like lions among the animals of the forest when they're in exile. And so they, Muhammad wanted to, he wanted to take their wealth. One of the things that about the Khaybar that Muhammad loved is he loved they have the best, sweetest dates, the sweetest dates. The dates that if you eat 7 of them, a day, then you won't, witchcraft and poison won't affect you. Well, Khaybar had the sweetest dates. And of course, it was because of the Jews. They knew how to grow the date palms. And you guys, even today, if you want to get the sweetest date palms in the world, get them from Israel, from the Dead Sea. Why? Because at the Dead Sea, when they plant those date palms, you see, because the roots have to go way down because of the salt water. So the roots go so far down looking for sweet water. They go so far down that the dates become so sweet. And that's one of the reasons why the dates are so sweet, because the roots of those date palms go way, way super, super, super far down because it's looking for sweet water, because it's right by the Dead Sea there, which is salt. And so, anyway, so the Jews had experience growing dates, and the sweetest dates. Muhammad loved the dates of Khaybar. And so he would take the dates. But there's also this other thing that Muhammad liked about Khaybar. And it sounds disgusting, and it is disgusting. And it's one of the reasons he attacked them. He uses as a pretense to attack them, is this fat. This fat. It's like a bag of fat. But I guess like lard or something. But of course lard is pork. But this would be like animal fat, like beef fat or cow fat or something, or sheep fat or something, and they would have a bag of it. And Muhammad loved it. He would get some and he wouldn't share it with nobody because he just loved the taste of that fat, and he would chew it. He would chew it, and he would he wouldn't share it with nobody. I know you guys think I'm kidding. Let me just show it to you, because it's actually in the hadith, and this is one of the reasons why he attacked them. Okay. Yeah, but yeah. Let me read it here. Let me see it. Yakola. Okay. Okay, here. We were in the company of Muhammad on a journey, and he was fasting. When the sun set, he addressed somebody, "Oh, so and so, get up and mix sawik with water for us." That's the fat. So, will you wait until it's evening? The Prophet said, "Get down and mix sawik with water for us." And if you wait until it's evening, the Prophet said, "Get down and mix sawik with water for us." And he replied, "It is still daytime." He said, get down, mix sawik with water for us. You got, okay, so um, a drink. Oh, okay. See what? Where's the other one? Okay. Oh, okay. The Prophet had a banquet for Sophia bint Huyay. That's from Khaybar, with sawik and dates. Sawik and dates. See, those are the two things that he loved. He loved to eat the food, except sawik. There was nothing with the people. Okay. While we're at a day's journey from Khaybar, the prayer became due, and Muhammad asked the people for food, but there was nothing with the people except sawik. He ate of it, and we ate with him. Then he asked for water and rinsed his mouth and offered the night prayer for the okay. Regarding his statement that Lat al-Uzza, Lat was originally a man who used to mix sawik for the pilgrim. Lat wal-Uzza. Say what? Lat is one of the goddesses, one of Allah's daughters. Lat and Uzza, those are two of his daughters. But there's a guy named Lat who used to make this fat, these bags of fat. Okay. And his companions were given sawik, okay, and they chewed it. Allah's apostle and his companions were given sawik, and they chewed it. Ma'ad. Ah, Yakullah. Okay. Okay, I have not drunk anything for 20 years, he said, except water and sawik, barley gruel. He did not mention the nabid. Muhammad used to like to drink wine, you guys. Uh, uh, okay, so anyway, this was something that Muhammad really liked, was this sawik. So, um, so anyway, that's the. I mean, there's some who say that could be one of the reasons why he attacked Khaybar, because he loved this food. You know, the Jews here you see, uh, handed God's messenger handed over to the Jews of Khaybar the palm trees in the land of Khaybar on the condition that they should employ what belonged to them in working on them, and he should have half of the produce. So, uh, he left the Jews of Khaybar to to tend the trees, because he knew the Jews had a special trick. They knew how to grow these dates so sweet that the rest of the people didn't know. So he left them on the land because he wanted the produce for himself. Okay. Um, and this is when he came to drive them out. Okay. And he killed, there was apparently about uh, like less than 20 Muslims were killed in the Battle of Khaybar. There was about 93 Jews who were killed in the Battle of Khaybar. Um, and and among those who were killed were the brother, father, and husband of Safiya, and um, and she was very beautiful. She was very beautiful, and I believe it's Yahya al-Kalbi wanted to take her because she was so beautiful to be his. But Muhammad saw her, and Muhammad said he wanted her. And so he took her to be his, and he was on his way back to Medina. Remember, it's 93 miles. I mean, that's back then. That's a long trip. Okay, on the way back to Medina, 93 miles is a long way. So, but on the way, Muhammad could not wait. He set up his tent, and he consummated their relationship, and um, so much his there was one of the guys who was one of his friends, Muhammad's friends. He was nervous because Muhammad had just killed this woman's husband, her brother, and her father, and she was like the queen, and he took her as his consort, and so Muhammad's friend was nervous. He said, "Dude, this lady could kill him. This lady could kill him tonight because he killed her father, her husband, and her brother." So he kept guard over that tent where Muhammad and Safiya were. So just to kind of show you the craziness of this, And then there was another woman. There was another woman, and I've always been of the opinion that it was this woman, this same woman whom he uh, consummated his relationship with. I've always understood it to be the same woman, but it may be another woman, but who was also from Khaybar, and her relatives were killed also. Excuse me, I got to take my medicine here. Like a senior citizen. Now, the there was another woman who wanted to make dinner for Muhammad. She was from Khaybar. And, and there's a very famous story that also because of this, also because of what he did at Khaybar, this woman was, she said, I want to cook for Muhammad a lamb shoulder, because she heard that Muhammad liked lamb shoulder. And Muhammad said, sure. And then, you know the story. She made it and she got poison and put it in the lamb shoulder and made dinner. And Muhammad eagerly imbibed, and he was about, and like, you know, he had a friend named Bishr who ate, put it in his mouth, and died. Okay, and Muhammad was putting it, but you see, Bishr was watching Muhammad. He trusted Muhammad, so Muhammad put it in his mouth, and then Bishr put it in his mouth and ate it. Everybody else was like, dude, everyone else, because it doesn't say there were other people there, but nobody else touched the food. Yeah. I mean, you never hear about anybody. I mean, there was a bunch of guys sitting there. Nobody else ate of the food, and nobody else got sick. Why do you think it is that nobody else ate the food? Because everybody else knew that Muhammad had just killed this woman's father and husband and whatever. And they were nervous. They're saying, dude, if we just killed her whole family and now she's cooking dinner for us, no way. But Muhammad wasn't. He was in the dark. He was oblivious to the fact that this woman might do something. And so she said, yeah, I want to cook for you. And he said, sure, cook for me. And she did, and she put poison in it. To quote Christian Prince, she got some rat poison from Walmart and put it in. And, you know, it was just that split second. Bishr, this innocent guy, he took some of the meat and he was watching Muhammad. And Muhammad put it in his mouth. And so Bishr put it in his mouth and ate it and died. Muhammad, when he put it to his mouth, the leg of lamb spoke to him. The leg of lamb spoke to him. And when it spoke to him, the leg of lamb told him, hey, dude, I'm poisoned. Don't eat me. And so Muhammad told everybody, don't eat it. They already knew not to eat it. Everybody else already knew not to eat it. And so, but Muhammad, because of that, 3 years later, that was in the year 629. And for the next 3 years, Muhammad was sick. And they had to drag him around, drag him by the feet. I mean, on their shoulders, they had to carry him because he was so sick. And he said he was sick because of the poison that he ate at Khaybar. And it eventually killed him, where he said it was pulling on his aorta. He felt like someone was cutting his aorta, which is exactly what the Quran says about what will happen to somebody who lies about Allah. So anyway, all that is related to Khaybar. So Khaybar is not the best of news for Muslims, actually. It was the reason Muhammad died. He, you know, people back then used to live a long time. You know, the Kurfa, you know, the woman that he split in two, she was 120 years old, according to the Hadith. So, I mean, people used to live a long time back then. And is it? Yeah, it could be. It could be. So Muhammad was actually young. He died young at 63, but it was because of the poison. And he knew it was. He's the one who said it was because of the poison. Muhammad said it's because of the poison. And there's a funny video by Nebi Asli. Nebi Asli does all those funny videos. And take a beat in Khaybar. So many people prayed for Muhammad to get better. And, you know, that's worth doing. Let me see if I can find that. let me see if I can find that. Just because all the people who prayed for Prophet Muhammad to get better, he was sick. There were so many people who, among them was Aisha, his wife Aisha. She prayed for him to get better. It didn't work. Maymuna prayed for him. He didn't get better. Muhammad prayed for himself. He didn't get better. Jibreel prayed for Muhammad to get better. Even Jibreel prayed and it didn't work. Then Muhammad came up with this method. He says, and I bet you, I bet you he got it from what Elisha said to Naaman the Syrian. Remember, Naaman the Syrian was a leper, and Elisha said to him, "Go and dip in the Jordan River 7 times to be healed." He did it, and he was healed. It says his skin turned like a baby's skin. And so Muhammad said, "Go get water, these 7 different kinds of water, and pour it on me." And so they went and got the 7 kinds of water, and they're pouring it on him, and he started choking in the water. He said, "Dude, stop it, it's not working." So his little tricks didn't work, his prayers didn't work, Aisha's prayers didn't work, Maymuna's prayers didn't work, Jibreel's prayers didn't work. None of their prayers worked. But Jesus' prayers worked. Jesus, the God of Israel, prayers to the God of Israel work. Muhammad's prayers, his wife's prayers, his Jibreel's prayers didn't work. Jibreel's prayers didn't work. Nothing worked to make Muhammad better. But prayers of Jesus always worked. So, and the prayers of God's true prophets, Moses, Elijah, Elisha, they all did miracles, and God healed through them, raised the dead, okay, but not Muhammad, okay. Even his wife, Aisha, let me see if I can find that. Jibreel. What's the interesting thing about Aisha is that Aisha said she's never seen anyone suffer like Muhammad suffered from that poison. She said she never saw anyone suffer like Muhammad suffered during that sickness. And you guys, all this goes back to Khaybar. What he did to the Jews there. What he did to the Banu Nadir. What he did to the Banu Kainuka. What he did to the Banu Qurayza. It all goes back to that. And Aisha said she's never seen anyone suffer like Muhammad suffered. That kind of reminded me of something else Aisha said. Remember when that woman came to her who had been beaten by her husband, and her skin was as green as her dress? And Aisha said, "I've never seen anyone suffer like a believing woman." So she's never seen anyone suffer like a Muslim woman, and she's never seen anyone suffer like Muhammad suffered. God bless you, Jedediah. So Islam brings about lots of suffering. So, and according to the mother of the believers, Aisha, okay. So anyway, there's let's. But still, in spite of that, you're going.
خيبر اللهم خيبر 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 يا يهود خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد سوف يعود يعود سوف يعود. Heat up, heat up.
خيبر خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد بدأ يعود ليس سوف.
Okay, yeah, Yahud. You know, this is a battle cry against the Jews. This is specifically, Khaybar Khaybar ya Yahud is not about fighting America. It's not about fighting Japan. It's not about fighting the Chinese. It's not about rescuing their Uyghur brothers. It's not about between Shiites and Sunnis. This is specifically a battle cry against the Jews, and it is one of the most famous battle cries, Muslim battle cries, and you hear it all the time. Let me see if I can find something on YouTube about that. Oh, yes. Okay. Here. Let's see if I can show you some other ones here.
को पता है ये सोया हुआ शेर जाग गया तो बहुतों की नींद
कभी नहीं आजाद कर
गुलामों का लश्कर दिन 10 बजे
Hey, these guys aren't Arabic, so I think it's Taliban. I don't know if you heard the song, and you guys, I bet you I know these singers because I used to record music in Gaza. I used to record lots of music, and a lot of those guys were singing songs like this. And if you just heard them, they say Khaybar Khaybar ya Yahud, Jaysh Muhammad Sayyahud.
خيبر خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد سوف يعود الله الله أكبر.
Yes, I bet you I know who these
मैं
are.
कहना खैबर खैबर या यहूद तो सकना जैश मोहम्मद सौफ यहूद.
Khaybar. It's a Jaish. Jaish is the Arabic word for army. Jaish. So if you want to learn an Arabic word, Jaish. Jaish is army. Sofa will Ya'ud return. Khaybar Khaybar.
This professor had no idea.
Caroline,
Joe Biden told us this. So fun.
Anyway,
This professor had no idea.
anyway, so they're it's everywhere. It's very well known. Sounds like the seven dwarfs. Yeah, but it's very well known, and it's used all the time, especially when there's some kind of anger towards Israel. And it's one of and it all goes back to this battle at Khaybar. So let's just look real quickly. Let's just look one more real quickly. We almost made it to an hour here. I just want to look one more time real quickly to see some hadiths about Khaybar. Now, Khaybar, I have to write it in Arabic because I don't know how to spell it in English. It's just 3 letters in Arabic. Khaybar. Okay, palm trees. Oh, by the way, there was one other thing I wanted to tell you. The land of Khaybar, it had 40,000 palm trees. Okay, it had 40,000 palm trees. There was another thing I wanted to tell you about Khaybar too. There was let me see if I can, let me see the, okay. You know what happened, by the way, I just want to read to you one particular hadith where it talks about exactly what Muhammad did. there was a guy. Let me read this to you. Jabir said he intended to go to Khaybar, so he went to Muhammad, gave him a salutation, told him his purpose. He replied, "When you come to my agent, take 15 camel loads from him, and if he desires a sign from you, put your hand on his collarbone." This was evidently a prearranged sign to show that Muhammad was genuine. Whatever. Okay, okay, here. Um, you know, it says that Muhammad went to Khaybar and he went there at night. He arrived there at night with his army, and that in the morning, all the people of Khaybar, um, they were going to work, and it says they had their shovels and spades, and then they saw Muhammad, and they say, "Oh, here's what it said." It said, "Muhammad and his army." The Prophet said, "Allahu Akbar," and Khaybar is ruined. For whenever we approach a nation, i.e., an enemy to fight, then it will be miserable mourning for those who have been warned. Muhammad spread misery. He really spread misery. Okay, and so let me see if I have a. Um, oh, this is interesting, you guys. Anyway, you know, the Quran says that a man should, if he's drunk, he shouldn't go to the mosque to pray. Well, here's another thing that Muhammad said people should not go to the mosque. It says that Muhammad said during the Battle of Khaybar, this is from Khaybar, he who eats of this plant, i.e., garlic, should not come to the mosque. Whoever eats garlic, don't go to the mosque. So he didn't like bad breath. So it's very sensitive to bad breath. Uh, okay, whether the dates, the Jews take care. Okay, you know, pretty much a lot of these hadiths are saying the same thing. You know, uh, it says Khaybar was taken in 7 AH. Okay, so that's the year after 7 years in Medina. And when they were at Sahba, which is very near Khaybar, he prayed. He called for food. The only some flour was produced. He ordered it to be moistened. Okay. Okay. Our ship. Okay. He chewed and ate the sawik. Okay, the fat. This was a big deal for them. Is that fat? So missions divided. Okay. All right. Let me just read this. This will be the last one I read, but there's just some stuff here. The Benu Nadir, Khaybar, and Fadak, these are all Jewish. Property was kept wholly for his own purposes. Fadak for travelers, and Khaybar was divided by God's messenger into 3 sections, 2 for the Muslims and 1 as a contribution for his family. If anything remained after the contribution to his family, he divided it among poor immigrants. The Fadak was near Khaybar. It capitulated without fighting. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's Khaybar for you. Okay. Here. This is what the one I want to read. Let me just read this to you guys. It says the messenger went to Khaybar. He arrived there at night, and when he came upon a people by night, he did not attack until morning. In the morning, the Jews came out with their spades and baskets. When they saw him, they said, "Muhammad, by Allah, Muhammad and his army." The messenger, said, "Allah is greater. Khaybar is destroyed. When we come to a people, it is an evil morning for those who have been warned." So whenever Muhammad shows up, it's an evil morning. Muhammad said it himself. So, yep, it's a miserable morning. If we approach a nation, oh America, oh England, then miserable is the morning for those warned. Somebody send this to the Prime Minister of England, okay? This is what Muhammad said. If we approach a nation, then miserable is the morning of those who are warned. So this Muhammad himself said. This is a quote from Muhammad. When he shows up, it's a miserable morning for those people. He shows up. Okay, I'm gonna keep that hadith. If you guys ever see the Prime Minister of Canada, okay, oops, change the language to English. It was a miserable morning when Muhammad arrived. He said it himself. I mean, right? It's not like I couldn't have made that up. He said it best himself, you know. When he said it himself so well, we don't need to help him. So that's what Muhammad said. Hello, John Scott. It's not just that Muhammad's behavior, according to Islamic books, was detestable. It is that it is believed Allah condoned it. Well, he absolutely did. He absolutely did. Not only, of course, Allah was just everything Muhammad wanted. He was just, gave a theological reason for everything Muhammad wanted, just like Aisha said. Aisha said, and I was thinking of doing that today, and I haven't done one in a long time, is kids say the darndest things. I did that about Aisha a long time because she was a little kid, and the stuff she says in the hadith. But she's the one who told Muhammad, seems like your God hastens to fulfill your desires. Aisha said that. It seems like your God hastens to fulfill your desires. Your Lord here, Aisha said this, This is the mother of the believers. Muhammad said, take half your religion from her. And I said to the Prophet, okay, I used to look, this is a hadith that should be read. This is the mother of the believers, Aisha, 6-year-old bride of Muhammad. She said, I used to look down upon those ladies who had given themselves to Allah's apostle. So there were a lot of these ladies. There were a lot of these ladies who had given themselves. And that is exactly a quote from the Quran, chapter 33, verse 37, where Allah says to Muhammad, permissible to you are all the women who want to give themselves. The word in Arabic, yihdi, let me read it. Quran 33:37. Oh, no. 33:50. Okay. وهبت نفسها. وهبت نفسها. And وهبت نفسها. And she gave herself to Muhammad. And so Aisha used to look down at these women who did this. And it says, I used to look down on these ladies who had given themselves to Muhammad. And I used to say, can a lady give herself to a man? But when Allah revealed, you, Muhammad, can postpone, turn off those whom you will of your wives, and you may receive any of them that you will, and there's no blame on you if you invite one of those you turn aside temporarily. And I said to him, I feel that your Lord hastens in fulfilling your wishes and desires. So she said that to Muhammad. She says, I see that your Lord hastens in fulfilling your desires, your wishes and desires. She was on to him, but it was to her benefit to play along with it. This is funny. You should read this too. This is the next verse, 33:51. It is up to you, O prophet, to delay or receive whomever you please of your wives. There is no blame on you if you call back any of those you have set aside. That is more likely that they will be content, not grieved, and satisfied with you. You offer them all. Allah knows fully what's in your heart, and Allah is all knowing and most forbearing. Aisha says, dude, your God is like, he definitely is all about you. And so, all right, you guys. Well, we made it to an hour. So thank you for hanging out with us. And Khaybar, let me just show it to you one more time. I'm sorry, I know you're sick of it, you guys, but I just want you to see that this thing is a real thing. So.
خيبر خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد بدأ يعود ليس
Great.
خيبر 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 يا يهود خيبر يا يهود جيش محمد سوف يعود سوف يعود.
I think there's 2 billion Muslims in the world, almost. Look at that. And the most famous battle cry is about the Jews. There's what, 15 million Jews in the world? 15 million Jews in the world. And Aisha couldn't speak a word against the Prophet, probably because she made a living out of telling, she had an amazing retirement plan. She had an amazing, health benefits, an amazing severance package. after he died, she was set. She had a house, she had respect, she had an army, she had money, she had a title, al-Mu'mineen, mother of the believers. She was set. And so it was to her benefit to play along, but she knew it was I remember when Muhammad said that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is a sister of Aaron, that she was the sister of Moses. And then a Christian from Najran came and told her, hey, you know what? I think you guys are a little nutty, because there's like 600 years between Moses and Mary and Jesus. And in reality, there's 1,400 years, 1,500 years. That's the goat. And he's from Jerusalem, by the way, you guys. My wife and me got that from Jerusalem, from the Mount of Olives. This is from the Mount of Olives, you guys. This is where near... So that's from the Mount of Olives, you guys. So yeah, it still works. I'm surprised it still works. We've had it for what? Almost 2 years now, and it still works. Yeah, no, it wasn't the Shepherd's Field. That was from the Mount of Olives, where the ascension happened. And I remember, because this little Arab kid is probably my cousin, but he tried to rip us off. Charge us 40 shekels for that thing. I was like, but anyway, guys, I did a little music video from a song of mine, and so I'd like to play it for you. I know usually when I play my music, I chase everybody away, but I made it today, so it's corny, but bear with me here. So let me see. Okay. Let me see if I can get it from here. Okay. It's called the Battle, the Ballad of Wanabin. Okay, it's a guy who wants to be a rock star but never made it. So yeah, so it's kind of autobiographical, but so anyway, let me just play it for you guys.
Got his first guitar when he was just 17. A jukebox hero he was sure he would be. The years passed on slowly and the decades did too. A dream he thought that maybe wasn't meant to come true. He tucked it away inside a safe in a vault. If he ever heard it knocking, he would turn up the volume of television station where the rockers would roll. If a tear came to his eye, he'd go out for a stroll. The rocker will be rocking, he's gonna be playing tonight. And it doesn't even matter if there's a state or even a spotlight. Staring at his tiny senior citizen wheel, he breaks the yoke as slowly he's beginning to feel. A dream that he was so sure he had long laid to rest, but it's beating like a fire in the pit of its chest. He felt it back then, and now he feels it again. He takes out his guitar, starts a picking and grinning, and the music and the melodies are starting to flow. And it doesn't really matter any rhythm goes. The rocker will be rocking, he's gonna be playing tonight. And it doesn't even matter if there's a state or even a spotlight. At the Northern Star Pavilion, he was playing his song. He fell down on the stage as he was strumming along. The few who heard him singing kept on singing and cried. They knew the dream of one of them had finally died. But even before the tears on earth could be dried, the gates of heaven up above were open wide, and St. Peter met one of them with the golden guitar. And he said, hey, we've been waiting, you're our favorite star. The rocker will be rocking, he's gonna be playing tonight. To the glory of the Father, in the glory of the heavenly spotlight.
All right, you guys. My wife sent a couple of pictures she wants me to share here. So this is from our time in the Holy Land, and so let me show you. Where'd it go? Oh, babe, sent it to Messenger. Okay. Oh, it's not in the Messenger, babe. Oops, you gotta send it to me. Shoot. Cancel. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure how to get the pictures. Let me do this. Yeah, it's in the text. I'll show you the pictures. Okay. Okay. It's still not here. Anyway, guys, I don't know, babe. It's not here. The goat ate it. I can actually show it to you, though. This is the. Oh, okay. Now I think it came. Okay, yeah. Okay. You guys, pictures don't get any cuter than this, okay? This is the pinnacle of cuteness. There. That's a sheep that we met the little shepherd boy who's sitting outside a shepherd's field. It is where they believe the angels came and sang to the shepherds. It's in Bethlehem. This is this one we were witnessing in Jerusalem. Let me see. Okay, there's the sheep, and this is the guy who was watching the sheep, the little shepherd. The sheep's name is Rosa. What is it? Is there another one? Yes. The ugly guys always get the gorgeous women, so see that's the benefit of being a let's see. Okay. I'll show you the pictures. Showing you all our Holy Land pictures, you guys. Taking you on a tour. This is the
And it's very steep.
this is going up to the Holy Sepulchre. This is where they believe Jesus was crucified. This is the hill where they believe Jesus was crucified in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. We were there on Easter.
Make sure you're wearing walking shoes, not high
There's
heels.
those two steps that have been worn down because so many people walk on them.
Just touching the rock.
A lot of people here. They close it this way. You can only go one way.
See, that's where they believe actually Jesus was crucified. It's actually on that, see, where you see that picture of him laying, of the crucifixion right there with Mary. See that picture right there? That's actually the site where they believe he was crucified, the place.
This
Oh,
is my
who's
husband.
that old man? That's actually the site where they say he was crucified, where he was nailed to the cross there. But then they stood the cross up over here.
That is a picture of Jesus from the ceiling. It looks amazing. We are
Uh-huh. This is where we bought. This is where we bought the sheep. It's here. This is on the Mount of Olives, overlooking the Mount of Olives, and there's a kid there with this his camel, and he knows exactly how to work the tourists, man, and rip them off. When I start speaking Arabic to him, he was like shocked, like, "Oh man, he knows I'm a thief. I mean, an Arab." There's Rosa.
You see that when Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah, two witnesses were sent. You see that in Revelation 11, there was two witnesses.
Okay, now this, you guys, is the garden tomb. Now, most Protestants think this is where Jesus was buried and crucified. They got a really good case. I really like what they say here because they got an actual mountain and it looks like it's got eyes and a mouth like a skull. And but behind it, there's this tomb, and this one is very cool. And so, in fact, Joshua Aaron does a song by his.
And when Jesus was born, two witnesses came to the temple. It says Simeon and Anna both testified that he was the Messiah. This is both of them real, and actually, who came? So,
Ooh, look, my beautiful wife. This is the tomb right here. This is the rock. So I don't know if this. I don't think this is the original rock, but they have it there. This is inside the tomb.
It smells so nice. It smells so nice in here. And this is where they believe that
This is the
Jesus'
place where they
body was
believe
laid.
his body was laid.
And we have some cross and scriptures.
So there you go, you guys. Those are some of our Holy Land experiences. So, you know, I don't know if you watch those videos about the shroud, man. I tell you, um, yes, the tomb was empty. Yes. In fact, you know what? The Muslims, of course, are building a mosque on top of the hill where the tomb is. Of course. Same way they build a mosque right next to the Church of the Nativity. I mean, not the Nativity, well, yes, the Nativity. There's a mosque right next to the Church of the Nativity. There's a mosque right next to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. There's a mosque right next to the Church of the Annunciation in Nazareth. Wherever there's a church, they'll build a mosque next to it. You know, it's just a coincidence, of course. There's a mosque next to Twin Towers. So, uh, so Just a coincidence, though. It's a complete coincidence. So let me see. Ah, this is the Mount of Olives, you guys. You see the golden globe there, the golden dome of the rock. That's where they believe the temple used to be, and where there. See, you see the walls of Jerusalem there. If you look real close, you guys, you got to look really, really hard over here. I don't know if I can make this any bigger. I don't think I can make it any bigger because you can actually see the eastern gate. The eastern gate. No, you can't. You can see the eastern gates that are sealed. So that because the prophet Ezekiel said to seal the eastern gates, and Suleiman the Magnificent, he's the one who rebuilt the walls around Jerusalem. He was afraid that the Messiah would come in, so he sealed the gates, the eastern gates, because he knew the Jews believed that the Messiah is going to come in through the eastern gates. Oh, there's a camel. And for those of you who are wondering about the tennis shoes I'm wearing, though they're not Nikes, they're Bips, and I bought them at Ralph's. So this is on the Galilee Sea. This guy's great. You guys, if you get to go to Israel, this guy's name is David, and he does these boat tours, and it was just us, and he played the music we liked. I think he's a believer because he knows Joshua Aaron. He called Joshua Aaron a brother, so I think he's a believer.
Late today because he jammed it up. It prevents the water from leaving. It's water. That's part of why the Indians have less water.
See, he said 2/3 of the miracles Jesus did was in this area right here. There's like Capernaum.
That's why we give part of the reason we give Jordan 100 million cubic meters of water every year. Which we're happy about.
Yeah, amazing. This is where Jesus walked, you guys. And I was gonna, because I'm a charismatic. I'm not a Baptist. Oops. Okay. I'm a charismatic, and I was gonna get out and walk on water. Okay, but yeah.
So behind that, you go further. There's another cliff behind it. There's a river.
So yeah, that's a great guy. His name is David. Really, he's American. He talks like an American, but he played all our favorite worship songs and stuff. It was really awesome. So if you guys get a chance to go there, dude, get this guy, man. He's awesome. Yeah, and it was just us, just the two of us on the boat, and you put your feet in the water, and it was so amazing. So, hallelujah. I didn't even notice you. Yeah, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre actually does have a lot going for it. It has a lot going for it. His name is David, so it really has a lot going for it in terms of being the actual site. So I kind of think it's a good to. It probably is the right place, but the other place is really awesome too, the Garden Tomb. So if you get to go there, definitely plan to go to both of them. And most Protestants like the Garden Tomb more than the Holy Sepulchre. The Holy Sepulchre is more of a like the Catholic, the Orthodox, the Coptic, the Armenian. Those are the ones who are. There's like 7 churches, I think. The Ethiopian Orthodox are all in the Holy Sepulchre. There's like 7 churches there. So no dollars. This guy's an American. He likes dollars. Shekels are like about a quarter. Like 1 shekel is about a quarter. And I mean, Israel's economy is very strong because of their high tech sector and their tourism. So even though, when there was the big oil crisis, the oil embargoes and stuff, and the economies of all the countries were struggling, going into recession and everything because of the oil prices. The Arabs got mad and raised the oil prices. Well, it didn't affect Israel because they weren't selling oil to Israel anyway. So, yeah, so they were kind of shielded against that. The church also depends on tradition, starting from 4th century, on vague information by Byzantine garden tomb. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. The meatheads bricked up the gate where Jesus was supposed to enter the city. Yeah. Yeah, it was the Suleiman the Magnificent, I think, who did that. He's the one who built the walls in the year 1500, around 1500. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank you for spending some time with us and taking our tour of the Holy Land. And if you would like to, if you feel so inclined, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Buy Ida a cup of coffee. I'll make sure and get the money to her. Just kidding. See, buymeacupofcoffee.com and Stephen. So thank you guys for hanging out. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Have a wonderful night.
If you have ever wondered why dull apologists lie so much, it's because on a rare occasion that they tell the truth, this happens.
One of the reasons I accepted Islam was the scientific miracles. I'll be honest with you. And now we know that this whole scientific miracles was absolute nonsense.
You're going to have to repeat that.
That the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say.